Fabulously.
What's that first couple like?
Amazing. It's all coming back.
I can't mimic voices for love or money. I'm completely hopeless at it.
Whispers inside Buckingham Palace hint at a shocking turn. Carole Middleton, long seen as the quiet royal in-law, allegedly made a move so bold it left Queen Camilla wiping away tears. What really happened behind those palace doors? Stay tuned as the truth unfolds, and don't forget to subscribe. Behind the grand walls of Buckingham Palace, appearances are everything. To the public, Carole Middleton, mother of Princess Kate, seemed like the perfect royal in-law, polite, supportive, and invisible when needed. But behind closed doors, a different story was quietly unfolding. Carole, who had built her life from the ground up alongside her husband Michael, was never truly embraced by the palace's inner circle. Though she attended events with grace and dignity, she often found herself treated as a polite afterthought rather than a valued family member. It wasn't just about her middle-class roots or the fact that she wasn't born into nobility. It was something deeper, a resistance from those who clung to tradition and lineage. One of the key figures in this silent rejection?
As you know, Catherine and Prince William have been going out together for quite a number of years.
Queen Camilla, who had herself once fought for acceptance but now, insiders say, guarded the royal gates just as fiercely. For years, Carole endured this quiet sidelining without complaint. She focused on supporting her daughter and grandchildren, believing her steady presence would eventually speak louder than old prejudices. But patience has its limits. What nobody expected was that the woman they overlooked would one day make a move so bold it would shake the palace to its core and leave even Queen Camilla in tears. Carole's journey into the royal world wasn't paved with welcome mats. After Kate and William's fairy tale wedding, she found herself constantly navigating subtle but painful barriers. As the Middleton family celebrated Kate's new life as a duchess, Carole began to notice the change. Invitations became more formal, her involvement in family moments tightly restricted. She was no longer just a proud mother. She was an outsider in a world ruled by centuries of silent expectations.
But I know that in the position I'm in, that's what's required of me to do. And
when Prince George was born, Carole hoped to step into the loving role of hands-on grandmother. But palace protocol quickly stepped in, assigning royal nannies and creating rigid schedules that left little room for her involvement. Even family traditions like Christmas, once filled with laughter and closeness, were overshadowed by formal gatherings at Sandringham. Carole's influence was slowly and quietly pushed aside. The emotional toll was real. Watching her daughter juggle the immense pressures of royal life while being pulled further away from her family must have been heart-wrenching. Carole never made scenes, never voiced complaints publicly. She stood by, smiling politely as memories slipped further from her grasp. The quiet tension between Carole and the royal family finally snapped at an event that should have been joyful.
Bereavement, domestic violence, family breakdown and more.
Prince Charles's 70th birthday celebration. Among the glittering chandeliers and flowing champagne, Carole reportedly overheard a conversation that cut deeper than any public slight. As Camilla and her close aristocratic friends chatted about Britain's elite, a pointed comment about new money and the importance of heritage floated through the air. No names were mentioned, but the meaning was crystal clear. To those who understood the royal dynamics, it was an unmistakable jab at the Middleton family. A cruel reminder that no matter how much success Carole achieved, she would never be one of them. The remark didn't just sting, it clarified everything Carole had endured for years. It wasn't about misunderstanding anymore, it was about deliberate exclusion. But Carole didn't storm out. She didn't confront anyone. Instead, she made a decision that would quietly change everything.
It was a total shock when it came and very excited.
And you produced a ring?
After the final insult at Charles's birthday, Carole shifted her approach completely. She didn't try to fit in anymore. She didn't argue. She simply began observing and remembering. Carole made mental notes, tracked small slights, and carefully watched the subtle power plays that shaped life behind palace walls. She documented missed invitations, canceled visits with her grandchildren, and last-minute changes that left her on the outside looking in. More importantly, through her extensive network of business and social contacts, Carole began picking up on deeper patterns. Little things, financial decisions, unusual property arrangements, curious movements of royal charities. Each detail alone meant little, but together they painted a quiet but unsettling picture of how influence and privilege operated behind the polished royal image. Carole wasn't gathering this information to stir the scandal. She was protecting her family's place in a world that clearly saw them as expendable.
And William and I have been doing everything we can to process and manage this private.
On the morning of February 6, 2025, Carole Middleton walked up the steps of Buckingham Palace, unnoticed by the media and unaccompanied by aides. In her hand, a simple leather briefcase. What followed was not a polite tea meeting. According to insiders, it was a reckoning. Inside that briefcase were documents, real ones, showing patterns of exclusion, questionable financial overlaps, and quiet but undeniable shifts meant to sideline the Middletons. Sources say none of it was illegal, but the optics were devastating, and at the center of the alleged maneuvering, Queen Camilla. Those present say Camilla, usually the picture of composure, was visibly shaken. Some claim she even left the meeting in tears after reviewing part of the material. It wasn't about threatening the monarchy, it was about showing that Carole had seen everything and was no longer willing to be quietly erased.
I'm 75 now, and I can't remember anybody.
By the end of that day, the palace was already changing. Meetings were rescheduled, aides were recalled, and engagements were mysteriously postponed. Camilla disappeared from public view for 10 days, only re-emerging on Commonwealth Day. Noticeably more subdued, her confident public image dimmed. Inside Buckingham Palace, the impact of Carole's visit was undeniable. Staff members whispered behind closed doors. Schedules, once tightly packed with royal engagements, suddenly had strange, unexplained gaps. Even Prince William, known for his calm and steady nature, seemed to tread more carefully. Insiders revealed he began seeking advice from trusted former aides, the same ones who once worked closely with his mother, Princess Diana. It wasn't a rebellion. It wasn't open warfare. It was something far more powerful, quiet, deliberate change.
Group of youngsters who were left behind. I suspect there was an argument about who got the rocking horse. But
Carole's silent stand had shifted the energy inside the palace. It wasn't about anger, it was about acknowledgement. The old rules couldn't be enforced so easily anymore. Even without saying a word publicly, Carole had made it clear. Her family and her daughter deserved more than a seat in the corner. While Queen Camilla retreated from public view, another royal figure stepped quietly but powerfully into the spotlight: Catherine, Princess of Wales. Kate didn't make any loud declarations. She didn't need to. She simply showed up, again and again, embodying a quiet resilience that spoke louder than words. Royal watchers immediately noticed the shift. Her public engagements increased, and not just in number, in importance. Events that once would have seen senior royals leading were now being helmed by Kate, with William standing confidently by her side. Behind the scenes, even more significant changes were taking place.
The society I hope we could and can become, right from the early days, meeting.
Her office, once tucked away in a modest part of the palace, was relocated closer to King Charles's working quarters. In the world of royalty, where power is often measured by proximity rather than title, this was a huge signal. Kate wasn't just participating in royal duties, she was helping shape them. Her influence grew in subtle but undeniable ways. When plans were made for charity initiatives, educational visits, and overseas tours, Kate's voice carried more weight. Senior aides consulted her directly, and younger royals reportedly began looking to her for guidance. And the public? They responded with overwhelming support. Kate's appearances were marked by genuine smiles, warm conversations, and a natural relatability that felt refreshing during times of uncertainty. She wasn't putting on a show. She was simply herself, blending royal protocol with authentic human connection. Her wardrobe choices also told a story.
Relationships comes out so strongly through that. It's really powerful. And do you feel
Kate mixed designer outfits with affordable high street pieces, sending a powerful message. Tradition could still evolve. It was a way of saying she understood the real world beyond palace walls, a bridge between royal formality and everyday life. On social media, her team shifted strategies too. Instead of stiff announcements, there were candid moments. Behind-the-scenes glimpses of her laughing with children during engagements, heartwarming snapshots of family life, and quiet moments of reflection captured during charity visits. Each step was deliberate, but never forced. Kate was crafting a new image for the monarchy, one that respected its history but wasn't trapped by it. Even more telling was the growing partnership between William and Kate. At public events, their unity was impossible to ignore. William increasingly deferred to Kate's insights, treating her not just as a supportive spouse, but as a true partner in leadership. The palace had changed, not with scandal, not with rebellion, but with steady, quiet strength. And at the heart of that transformation stood Kate Middleton, a woman shaped by love, loyalty, and the enduring influence of a mother who refused to be silenced. Carole Middleton's unexpected stand wasn't a dramatic explosion, it was a quiet earthquake. One that shifted the foundations of power inside Buckingham Palace without ever tearing them down. Her quiet strength opened a path for her daughter to rise with confidence and compassion, forging a new image for the royal family.
In a world built on centuries of hierarchy, Carole proved that true influence doesn't always wear a crown. Sometimes it carries a briefcase, stays silent, and waits for the right moment to be heard. As the monarchy continues to evolve, one question lingers. Has Carole Middleton changed the royal story forever? Without ever stepping into the spotlight herself? What do you think? Could this be the beginning of a new chapter for the royals? Tell us in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and watch our next video for more untold royal stories.